Good night, and welcome to another episode of Bouyon. I am your guy, PDD, and tonight we're privileged to have with us the CEO of Export Saint Lucia, Miss Sunita Daniel. We want to say a big good night to you. Welcome to Bouyon.
Good night, Peter.
Good night to you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's nice
Good.
to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Can you please introduce yourself to our viewers? Tell them who you are.
Okay, I am Sunita Daniel, Saint Lucian, originally from Auger in Vieux-Fort. An island girl at heart. I love the sun, I love the beach, I love my country. And so that's basically who I am.
Okay, great. Before we go into the depth of our discussion, or before we start to discuss what Export Saint Lucia is all about, I just want us to show a short clip that will tell us a little bit, or give us a little bit of more insight as to what you guys do. So I'd ask my dear friend to go ahead and play the clip for us. Thank you.
Since our establishment, the work of Export Saint Lucia has resulted in tangible contributions to our nation's economy. Over the past few years alone, we've recorded some major accomplishments. Through a number of interventions, including branding and promotion, we've transformed St. Lucia's sun-dried sea moss industry. In 2019, just 1 year after those interventions started, the value of sea moss exports increased by $500,000. As the sector grows, communities along the East Coast, where sea moss is king, are reaping the rewards of their hard work. In fact, our work has been so impactful that we were awarded by the International Trade Center for our efforts. A number of strategic trade shows and international missions have resulted positively for a host of manufacturers. Fresh produce, agro-processed goods, and even construction materials are regularly exported as far away as Dubai, following a successful showing by Export Saint Lucia during Expo 2020 Dubai. That's why, over the past few years, exports of goods have averaged $135 million. The Taste of St. Lucia brand was successfully trademarked in 2021 and is an indicator of high-quality goods manufactured in St. Lucia. In December 2022, Export St. Lucia opened the Taste of St. Lucia store, a retail outlet stocking nearly 40 St. Lucian brands, with all profits remitted to the manufacturers. It has quickly become a favorite for both locals and tourists. Local promotion is a vital part of our work. Through a fashion show dubbed Export the Runway, we allowed over 20 St. Lucian designers to showcase their creativity. Designs that strutted down the runway are now available on the shelves of popular stores. The St. Lucia Business Expo, hosted in February 2023, offered over 70 St. Lucian manufacturers an opportunity to display their offerings to visitors and locals alike. Expositions like these show that St. Lucia has so much to offer. This is only a snapshot of what we've accomplished. Our team is working on projects that will improve a number of sectors, including craft, apiculture, agriculture, and sea moss. That includes a CDB-funded €328,320 project to improve compliance of St. Lucia's fresh produce exports with international standards. Follow Export St. Lucia on social media for regular updates on the work that we do for the people of St. Lucia.
Awesome. Wow. Export Saint Lucia does a lot. You are the CEO of Export Saint Lucia, an organization which plays an integral role supporting local business owners and service providers. Firstly, can you tell us more about you as an organization and the role that you play as CEO?
Thanks, Peter. Export Saint Lucia, as you saw, is the government of Saint Lucia's agency responsible for pushing exports of goods and services abroad. So our vision is for international competitiveness, driving export growth, and we really look at excellence and authenticity, both at home and abroad. So Export Saint Lucia will take our products, which we produce in Saint Lucia, our services, our creatives, our dairy segment music, our craft, all of that, and we will take it to the outside world so that our small manufacturers and our producers can earn a living, which can contribute to Saint Lucia's national development.
Oh, wow. So you're saying that like companies or artists like Denry Segment and so on, you take them and you export that service outside of St. Lucia.
That's right.
Okay. Given your mandate, can you share some of the programs and projects that your organization has undertaken to achieve its vision, international competitiveness, driving export growth in St. Lucia?
One of the things we've done very recently is to establish a Taste of St. Lucia store at Point Seraphine. That's the cruise ship terminal. It is one of a kind store in St. Lucia where we've brought together over 40 small producers who would not have been able to afford their own physical retail space by themselves, and we've brought them all together in one location at Point Seraphine so that their goods can be exposed for sale to thousands of cruise ship visitors who come into the Castries port daily. We've also opened a mobile store recently for the Ark, which was in Rodney Bay Marina. So this is just one of what we have done. We're also looking at working quite extensively on St. Lucia CMOS. I mean, St. Lucia CMOS is the best CMOS in the world. We get those kinds of reviews about our CMOS, and it is very sought after. So we've been working a lot to get St. Lucia CMOS to every corner of the globe. We have branded it. There's a Taste of St. Lucia brand that's trademarked, and it really lets the outside world know that this product is of the highest quality. We have also been working on a certification program and new packaging for our exporters. So we got our products tested at labs in the EU and in the US so that we can ensure that our consumers know that what they are consuming is a safe product. And so these are now certified products, a lot of it proper packaging, proper labeling, putting those labels in the languages of the countries that they are being exported to. So these are just a few of what we have done so far.
You know, this is amazing, right? But, you know, it is no easy tape to spearhead the nation's national export development, right?
Right.
And I am sure that you face a lot of challenges in your role as CEO and as an organization. Can you tell us what are some of the challenges that you face? And can you tell us what are the attempts that have been made to kind of address those challenges?
I think one of the important things and a challenge for anybody is that you really want to give value to your clients and to everybody who comes to you. And because we are a development agency, a lot of the St. Lucian population does come to us for assistance. So one of the challenges that we have is our inability to help every single person who comes through. And it's really difficult. And it's something that I tell my team all the time, that we must find a way, even though it's through encouragement, through basic words that we give people, find a way to encourage them to keep that entrepreneurial spirit, because it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur and people are always looking for assistance. So that is just one of the challenges that I have here. Another thing is to really ensure that we meet the targets that are set for our country. Whatever we do directly impacts a lot of small producers, and it impacts their livelihoods and their lives directly. So any mistake that we make may prevent somebody from getting access to a market, any little thing that we do. So I have to ensure that my team, as the CEO, I have to ensure that my team is always on the ball and is always very responsive to the general public and what they need.
I could imagine, because so many businesses, right, and everybody need that assistance. What type of companies would you assist, and what would the criteria, or what is the criteria you use to decide on the company that you would definitely assist to help them market their product or service?
Like I said, we've had a lot, particularly after COVID. We've seen a lot of small businesses being established in St. Lucia. I dare say that St. Lucia probably has most new business registrations in the OECS. We've seen a lot of those. And so for us, it is really to provide them that kind of market access. So small businesses, any kind of business is who we help. But first of all, you must have been registered. You must be a registered business. That is one of our basic criteria, because we need to ensure that the taxpayers' money that we use is going to the people it is supposed to go to. So the basic thing, you must be a registered business. You must have some, if you're providing us a good that people will consume, you must have a basic health certificate. You must meet certain standards. Aside from that, anybody can come to us and we really try to assist them. If it is that we find you're not a registered business, we'll redirect you to our partner, the Small Business Development Center, who will assist you with that registration of your business. So we help everybody. We help with services. We help our artists, our soca artists, our demi segment artists, our calypsonians. We help everybody to really elevate their enterprise to a world-class business.
Wow, so technically what I'm learning from you is that you don't really turn anyone away. You try to assist everybody. Even if you cannot give them what they need, you try to give them some advice as to the direction that they should take.
Yes.
You know, running any organization takes having cash available. And I am sure that a lot of people come to you for assistance in that regard. Do you have a program or plan as to how to assist them? And how do you support them in actually applying to maybe a financial institution to get the assistance that they need financially?
You're so right. People normally come to us a lot to ask for cash assistance. And that's one of the things we're not able to do all the time, because cash is not something you can track very easily. And like I mentioned earlier, Export Saint Lucia is completely funded by the government of St. Lucia. So that means it is funded by taxpayers' funds. And so there's quite a bit of accountability for that. However, we do have certain programs in Export Saint Lucia. So we have a first-time exporters program where we do offer assistance to people who are exporting for the first time. So if your packaging needs to be done, we help you with that. If your shipping needs to be done, we help you with that shipping cost. Any assistance that you require, the first-time exporter, we will normally give. We also have a program targeted specifically at women entrepreneurs. So if these women would come to Export Saint Lucia, they will get these kinds of benefits. So we have quite a few programs which are available, and in terms of providing financial assistance to them. Every business basically gets some kind of minimal assistance which will lead to an export. However, we do have MOUs that we have signed with a number of financial institutions. So for example, the St. Lucia Development Bank is one of those we have signed an MOU with. And they do take recommendations from us about a business. What we have had before with some financial institutions is that when we go out to an external market and we get a contract for a manufacturer, and that person would require some finance, the bank would advance them that amount of money based on the contract that we would have gotten for them, so that they know when they get paid, the bank will also get paid. So we do have MOUs in place with a number of the financial institutions, and there are a number of financing agreements available. So very recently, we had the MSME loan grant facility, where people who own a business can get 70% grant, and they take a 30% loan from the SLDB to finance their operations. There is also funding available in the Youth Economy Agency, where the young people can then come and apply the same way and get grants for what they require. So there's quite a bit of funding available for our small manufacturers.
That's really good to know. So people need to know where these funds are available and how, they can access them. You spoke about, you mentioned first-time persons join the program, the things for the first-time exporters. Can you kind of briefly tell us what is it that first-time exporters need to know? I mean, you can't give us all the details, but give us some of the highlights of the things that they need to know before they could actually get ready or prepare themselves to export products or services.
Right. So first-time exporters normally are not very savant as to what they need when they're going out into the export market. And that's why Export Saint Lucia is here. And so one of the things they need to know is their product or their service. You need to know it very well. You need to know what it is that you're offering. What is your selling point? What is your competitive advantage? You need to know what market you'd like to go into. And a lot of those times, maybe sometimes they don't know where they would like to go. And so we do that kind of thing for them. So we have a unit in Export Saint Lucia called the Market Research Unit. And that's all they do. They do that kind of research for a first-time exporter or for any exporter, really. And they would find out in that market, possibly go into the market themselves, find out who are your competitors, who's doing a similar product, what price are they selling that product for, what price could you potentially sell your product for, how should your labeling be, how should your packaging be, who's more attractive, is another product more attractive than your product, then you probably need to do a little more work. So these are some basic things that a first-time exporter needs to know. They need to know the distributors. They need to know the country that they're going into. A lot of countries have restrictions. So for the United States, there's free trade, so we can trade freely. But for other countries, there's not that arrangement. And so along the way, we really try to assist them in getting to know the new environment they're going with so that they don't have to do that work themselves, and we do that for them.
Awesome. Let me ask you, in your experience, why do you think it's necessary? Because I know a lot of people are listening and wondering, why do you feel it's necessary to kind of research on the country that the person or the exporter wants to export to? Just kind of like, yeah.
It's very important because we see it every day. So in the United States, for example, there are certain requirements you need to meet. So the USDA is always monitoring what we're sending to the United States. So we need to know what the requirements are to enter the United States. You cannot just send a product to the United States and think it will get onto a shelf. You need to have a distributor, an agent, for example, in the United States for some product to send your product to sell. In some other countries, you need a health certificate. So we export to Dubai. There are certain scanning documents that you require. We are now trying to export to other countries in Eastern Europe, and we're finding that there are other requirements we have to adhere to. The difficulty you will have is that if you just send your product to a country without adhering to the requirements, they may seize your product and destroy it at the port. So your product may never get into the market. So to prevent all of that from happening, we do all that research for our exporters so that when the product leaves St. Lucia, it gets to the shelf in a very, very short time, space of time in the other country.
And that is so true, because sometimes when you think something is acceptable somewhere, it is not.
It is
especially especially places like Dubai.
right.
Let me ask, you know, you dream. I remember there was someone on my show one time, Deborah Edwards, who said, when you dream, you need to dream big. And dreaming big is important, but then we start small and we want to grow our business, right? And education or educating persons in terms of business is really important. How does Export Saint Lucia assist in providing educational opportunities like workshops, trade shows, business expos, and seminars and training? How do you guys help the novice, the persons who have just started? How do you guys do that?
We have currently a program called Excel. So it's a training program that we have running throughout the year. And Excel would identify certain things that you require. For example, what we just spoke about, financing. We have a module on financing, how to get financing. We have a module on legal aspects of having your business so that you can understand what are the legal ramifications of the kind of business you have. So recently we had a training workshop for our manufacturers for them to decide, should I be a company? Should I register as a sole proprietor? what is the kind of registration that is most appropriate for my business? So we do that kind of training with them on the Excel. We do those also with market research. We have a lot of conferences. We've recently brought in buyers and distributors from the United States, actually, to St. Lucia, and they addressed our exporters and our manufacturers as to what they need to enter the US market and what they need to be in a supermarket in the United States. And they even got a chance to look at the products that these people, our people, have. We also have a number of trade shows throughout the year so that your product can be seen by the general public. And so, for example, last year, we would have had the Independence Business Expo, which was very, very good for our manufacturers. They did come back and say that they sold quite a lot at that Business Expo. We have another edition of that Independence Business Expo happening on the 16th and 17th of February this month. And so what we are doing, which is different this time, is that we are actually bringing in buyers from around the region and also as far as Dubai to coming and see what 120, at least 120 small businesses in St. Lucia have to offer. So we offer the training, we offer the visibility, we do a lot of hand holding, we do a lot in terms of what is required for our businesses so that ultimately they can get to that export market outside of St. Lucia.
Awesome. Let me ask, because I know like in New York, the Consul General or the St. Lucia Consulate, they have a lot of like trade shows and marketplace events. If say a local exporter wanted to attend an event like that, is that something that your organization would facilitate? Like if there's something happening in the UK or even in Germany or somewhere like that, is that something your organization would facilitate?
We actually have done it before on a case-by-case basis. So we will look at if that person is ready for that market. So we have a lot of our exporters who may say to us, I need to go to Germany. And so this is the market I'm going to. But when we do what we call our export readiness assessment, we will look at and we'll say probably Germany is not the market you should be targeting right now because of certain restrictions that there may be. But we do assist them on a case-by-case basis. We have assisted our exporters to go to trade shows. We've recently had them going to a trade show in Miami. We've also assisted our creatives for participating in events overseas for Independence, for Journée Créole, for example. We've already done those. So yes, we do it. We look at it on a case-by-case basis. If we think the market you're going to is the one which is a good one for you, we do assist.
Okay, that's good to know. I know people who'd be looking at this show today, or maybe, you know, we always record it and it's there so people can have a look at it. And people in the diaspora in different areas in the world may be thinking, what is in there? Can Export Saint Lucia do for me as a manufacturer that is not based in Saint Lucia? Say for argument's sake, I'm in New York and I'm producing sneakers or trainers or something. Is there anything in place to assist persons who are St. Lucians but not based in St. Lucia?
Okay, so once again, it is a case-by-case basis, and it is something we've done already before. So we look at the enterprise. So we've done it, for example, many St. Lucians may know Twist by V, who does those very wonderful bow ties and other accessories. And we actually met him at an event at the St. Lucia House in New York a few years ago. And he got some information from us. He was able to then come back to St. Lucia and he was able to set up his own business here. And we give that kind of assistance in doing that. However, we also give assistance to St. Lucians overseas in terms of promotion. So to promote your product, we do that kind of thing. We are a promotional agency. We are a marketing agency. And so if a St. Lucian in New York has a product that they'd like some assistance in promoting into another territory, we do assist them with that. We do ask, though, that you must have something of St. Lucia on that. It must be represented somewhere. That in all ways, you try to promote your country also. So it is something we do. When they come in, we talk to them, we assess, and then we see. At the end of the day, our mandate is really to push what is made in Saint Lucia, what is authentically Saint Lucian. And even though somebody is in the diaspora and they're doing something, a service, for example, overseas, there are ways we can assist them to also go out and get other markets.
All right, thank you for that. And for people in the diaspora who are wondering and looking and seeing how they can get assistance, they could always reach out. Is there like a form that needs to be completed, or is there like somewhere that people can kind of access the criteria that they would need to qualify to get assistance?
Yes, they can go on our website, Export Saint Lucia website, and you would get all the information. Right there on the website, you will also see a form where somebody can be a new client. So you fill out that form and an assessment is made as to whether you could be a new client of Export Saint Lucia. We do record and keep a lot of data because, like I said, we do have to be accountable for the money that is spent by Export Saint Lucia. And so we do record the name and the businesses that we assist. So yes, they can go onto our website and see or go on social media. I know a lot of people can go on Facebook. Everybody has Facebook. Look at Export Saint Lucia, look it up, like us, like the page, and you would be able to see a lot of the information that is required. We have client managers on hand who are available to answer your questions and to guide you. The process is very, very simple.
Since you deal so much in exporting products and services from St. Lucia to various parts of the world, do you have like people in designated spots or designated countries that assist individuals or assist in terms of getting those products across?
We do have different iterations. So for example, in the United States, we work very closely with our consulate generals, with our ambassador. In Cuba, it's the same thing. We do work very closely with our foreign affairs ministries that are based in those countries. In countries where we don't have that arrangement, we work directly with partners on ground. So we would know, for example, in a country that we go into, we have built a network of partners and agents that we are able to reach out to and who are able to assist us. So yes, in most countries, we do have that kind of support, and a lot of it comes from the external ministries.
How do you market Export St. Lucia to a potential local, regional, or international investor so they can access what St. Lucia can produce?
Okay, so we have, once again, when we go overseas, we have our portfolio always available. So people are able to see us on our social media locally. Locally, they can go to the stores. Our marketing is very obvious everywhere we go. But we also have quite a bit of presence overseas. So when we go, we will speak to potential persons, although investment is not what we do, but rather exports. But we do go accompanied a lot by our small manufacturers. So most times when we go, or our large manufacturers. So for example, Baron would go on a trade mission with us, and who better to speak about the product than the person who's manufacturing. So we use different models for different areas and different countries that we visit. So for example, if it is that a portfolio of Choiseul crafters, for example, we build portfolios for our small manufacturers. So Choiseul crafters, the women's group from Choiseul who do the straw baskets, the straw mats, and so on, we had an order of straw products from St. Lucia to New York. Incidentally, a container of product went to New York, and we were able to assist the small manufacturers to do that. And a lot of it is done through portfolios. So we put together basically a booklet of what is available in St. Lucia, what you can see, what you can do. And we do a lot of that either online or in physical form for our manufacturers. When we go out into the markets, we do present those portfolios to our potential investors. We speak to them a lot about the product. We give a lot of samples of products so they can taste and come back and let us know what they want. So it's really building a relationship or building on an existing relationship for us to get people to know not exactly Export Saint Lucia because we just the engine behind the machine, but for people to know the machine, which is the manufacturers and the service providers. So we do a lot of marketing for them.
Okay, you kind of take my question. I was about to ask you, how much marketing do you actually do for our local producers and service providers? But then you just said that you do. So let me ask. So if me being say a small business, I come to you, I say I want to export my product to New York. You look at what my portfolio of my business. You look at what I'm doing. And would it be a case where you would put, this is a two-part question. If I'm new, would you be able to help me create a marketing plan to assist, to be able to share my idea, or even to get investors to help me? And do you help in terms of doing business plans and marketing plan, or do you just help in marketing the product?
We actually do create marketing plans. We do a lot for our small manufacturers, actually. So if we understand that people are not necessarily marketers of their product, but they're the producers of the product. And for you to have a business, you also need to know how to market the product. So if they come and they have a good product, we would do everything for them. So we do the marketing plans for them. If they need assistance with business plans, we've assisted traditionally with them, but we also work within the Small Business Development Center of the Ministry of Commerce, where their own officers would prepare a business plan for these businesses. Many of them, like I mentioned earlier, would probably need to have a business registration. And so even that is done through the Ministry of Commerce. So we do a lot for them, marketing plans, export development plans, because you need to know where you're going to go. Where are you going in the next year? What do you plan to do in the next 3 years? Where are you looking for the next 5 years? And so we work with them and we have officers on hand who help them develop that kind of plan. So part of the export plan would actually be a marketing plan in there.
Understood. I know we've showed the video earlier on, but if we can, as we think, if Kev, you could run that video for me again, please, I'd appreciate it. I just want people to kind of get more of an insight as to what Export Saint Lucia is all about. And then once we play that video, we'll just have a few more questions. I'll have a few more questions for you, rather, and then we will call it a day.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Since our establishment, the work of Export Saint Lucia has resulted in tangible contributions to our nation's economy. Over the past few years alone, we've recorded some major accomplishments. Through a number of interventions, including branding and promotion, we've transformed St. Lucia's sun-dried CMOS industry. In 2019, just 1 year after those interventions started, the value of CMOS exports increased by $500,000. As the sector grows, communities along the East Coast, where CMOS is king, are reaping the rewards of their hard work. In fact, our work has been so impactful that we were awarded by the International Trade Center for our efforts. A number of strategic trade shows and international missions have resulted positively for a host of manufacturers. Fresh produce, agro-processed goods, and even construction materials are regularly exported as far away as Dubai, following a successful showing by Export Saint Lucia during Expo 2020 Dubai. That's why, over the past few years, exports of goods have averaged $135 million. The Taste of St. Lucia brand was successfully trademarked in 2021 and is an indicator of high-quality goods manufactured in St. Lucia. In December 2022, Export Saint Lucia opened the Taste of St. Lucia store, a retail outlet stocking nearly 40 St. Lucian brands, with all profits remitted to the manufacturers. It has quickly become a favorite for both locals and tourists. Local promotion is a vital part of our work. Through a fashion show dubbed Export the Runway, we allowed over 20 St. Lucian designers to showcase their creativity. Designs that strutted down the runway are now available on the shelves of popular stores. The St. Lucia Business Expo, hosted in February 2023, offered over 70 St. Lucian manufacturers an opportunity to display their offerings to visitors and locals alike. Expositions like these show that St. Lucia has so much to offer. This is only a snapshot of what we've accomplished. Our team is working on projects that will improve a number of sectors, including craft, apiculture, agriculture, and CMOS. That includes a CDB-funded €328,320 project to improve compliance of St. Lucia's fresh produce exports with international standards. Follow Export Saint Lucia on social media for regular updates on the work that we do for the people of St. Lucia.
$135 million.
Yes.
Wow. Let me ask this. I know you recently opened, or your organization recently opened a store. Do you have any plans of opening any more?
We actually, you taking me into where our plans are for the future. We actually are looking forward to having a store in New York. We'd like to have a Taste of St. Lucia store in New York. We are also looking at London to have a Taste of St. Lucia store in London. So these are, we've opened 2 so far in St. Lucia, one mobile in the marina and the one at Point Seraphine. But definitely after that, we're looking to go to much closer to our diaspora and ensure that they are able to get all of those St. Lucian products in a storefront, most likely in Brooklyn.
I love that. So I can access all what I want.
Exactly. So you can get everything that you need right there in that store.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, that's important. You know, one of the things in your video that was interesting, and you mentioned it briefly, but you did not go into it a lot. But I just want to kind of compliance.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. Because when you're going to send produce and products out there, you know, you always have to be compliant. And tell us, what are the challenges that you face in trying to get a St. Lucian manufacturer, to be compliant so that you can export those products to different countries?
The good thing is that we work with other agencies on island. So we work very closely with the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards. They're on our board, we're on their board. And so they're responsible for standards and compliance. And so they would also give us information as to what is required by the importing country for our goods to get there. You may have a little bit of difficulty. So for example, people may need to have produced in a factory setting. You may have to have certain standards, HACCP or GMP standards in that setting. And so if it can be very, very costly for a manufacturer to put all of those standards together. For example, last year, the government, through Export Saint Lucia, would have assisted the Poilin CMOS Farmers Cooperative to reach the standards and to get their factory that they have up to standard because of certain questions that would have arisen from the United States. And so we are working all the time with our manufacturers to ensure compliance. In the video, you would have seen also that we have a major CDB funded project. And what we'll be doing under that project is to refurbish 3 pack houses in small communities in St. Lucia. So we're looking at Soufrière, Beaufort, and possibly Grace or the Dennery area for us to really fix up their pack houses. So pack houses, for our viewers who are listening, for our listeners, is that area when you come from the farm and you need a place that you take the produce to. So you need to wash them, you need to pack them. That area needs to be up to certain specifications. And so through that project, we will be refurbishing those. The St. Lucia Marketing Board was recently refurbished, and it's really one of the top quality places of standards for us to export our product. So St. Lucia is really coming a long way in terms of compliance. We do not have any difficulty in accessing any of the markets currently. Canada, the United States, London, very regularly, every day, we do send our agriculture, we send breadfruit, we send dashing, we send yams, we send everything to those countries, and we are very compliant as to what it is that the country has to, the standards the country has to meet.
Wow, that's awesome. Talking about that, we talk about exporting, but then once you export, you need to have a distributor, right?
Right.
Somebody that would take the product, be able to sell it for you, be able to generate the revenue that would, to pay for the business or the manufacturer. How do you link those three things? The manufacturer get the products to the docks, it's exported to the country or to the US, wherever, and then they, of course, need to get compensated for their products. How does that work?
Okay, that's a very good question, because without the distributor, there's not much we can do. So we do, when we go out into the markets, we do build relationships with distributors. And so it may be a distributor who's an agent working on their own, or it may be a distributor of a supermarket, or it may be a distributor who owns a store. But we do make those kinds of relationships so that we know who we're sending the product to and who's responsible for clearing it off the docks. So we are constantly on the lookout for distributors who would also be very good at paying their bills. So we don't want anybody to take our St. Lucian manufacturers' products and then the money never comes to the manufacturer. So that's something we've not had any issues with so far, and we're hoping that we can maintain that, because we do vet a lot our distributors. So we know who the people are, that they're trustworthy. These are people we're working with. Currently, we are looking for potential distributors, for example, in the Dallas area. There's a lot of interest in St. Lucian products there, and that's one of the things we currently looking at and ensuring that we can get a distributor for our products there. So it is something that's important. We have constant contacts with our distributors, so we know how much product they require, what payments are going to be coming back to our manufacturers, how are those payment terms decided. So a lot of those things are things that we help our manufacturers in terms of navigating that export space. So yes, distributors are very, very important.
So do you act like the conduit between the distributor and the manufacturer? So for argument's sake, when money is paid, is it paid to the Export Saint Lucia or direct to the manufacturer?
Okay, so we don't get involved at all in the money part. So we do everything else. So we assist them with negotiating contracts, making sure that they sign a contract, making sure that our manufacturers are protected. However, the money goes directly to the manufacturer's accounts. So they would then do that. In some select situations, we may have where the money would come to Export Saint Lucia, particularly for CMOS producers. And one of the things is we do work a lot with small groups of women and cooperatives and so on. And the banking system, they may not have it very well set up yet. So when the payment comes, it may come to us for CMOS, and then we then redistribute to the manufacturers. But that's only on that occasion. Anything else, the money goes directly to the manufacturers. We just do all the rest of the work.
I like talking about money because I like money. I don't have any, but I like it. Let me ask you, I know Export Saint Lucia is government owned, right?
Right. We're a statutory agency.
Okay. But is there any cost implication for manufacturers who are coming to you guys to say, hey, I need help for you to help me with something? Are there any cost implications? And if you don't do it often, but if you collect money on behalf of, is there a percentage going towards Export Saint Lucia?
Peter, that's a great question. And it's something that I have tried many times to ask, can I charge for those services? And the government says to me, no, you cannot. So there is absolutely no charge. We do a lot of work for the manufacturers. It's very costly. So many times the information that they require is overseas, and so we have to send staff overseas to get that done. And I'm like, okay, can they just pay a little bit, just a little membership fee or something? And they have consistently said to me, no, you cannot charge. So all the services are free to our manufacturers. Anytime that any money comes in for manufacturers through Export Saint Lucia, we do not get any commission. We do not get anything. So I don't even think, I think we could be arrested if we were to do that. So no, there is no cost, nothing. Everything is absolutely free to manufacturers.
Wow, that's great. You know what? I will come to you guys because I have a project. I'm only joking. I want you to put a marketing plan together for me.
Yes.
Given the vision of our Export Saint Lucia, what do you see as CEO happening in the next 10 years? Or what would you like to see?
Quite a lot, actually. We are working very closely now, I must mention this, with the Bodily Correctional Facility in Saint Lucia, where we are teaching the inmates there, particularly the women, how to produce and have their own businesses around honey, so apiculture. So we've been teaching them, they've been given hives. We are going to expand the project in the next few months to take on more of the inmates. It's really because we realize that when the inmates leave the Bodily Correctional Facility, they don't get a job immediately. It's very difficult to be reintegrated in society. And so one of the things that they would need to do is to be able to run their own businesses. And we're teaching them how to do that, but also teaching them the business aspects of it. So it's a project that we're quite proud of. And one of the things I'd like to see expanded to other vulnerable groups in St. Lucia. So the young men that we have some issues with, ensuring that they're able to learn some skills in terms of business skills and learning some entrepreneurial skills. So that's one of the things in the short term we'd like to get done. But longer term, I'd really like to see Export Saint Lucia, the Taste of Saint Lucia store everywhere around the world. In 10 years, I want everybody in Washington and New York and Manhattan and Miami and everywhere should be able to get a Taste of Saint Lucia product anytime that they require it. So that's one of the things we're working very quickly towards in the next few years. The other thing we'd like to do is to get the products online as much as possible. So a few of our products, for example, Frances Rub is already on Amazon. You may be able to get some teas on Amazon. We would like to see all our Saint Lucian products on Amazon so that we have fulfillment centers set up in the US and in London. So you go on Amazon, and the same way you can order anything and get it delivered to your home. You can order a pitombe and get it delivered to your home. You can order a sea-wet jam and get it delivered to your home. And so that's one of the things that we're really looking towards doing, ensuring that St. Lucians living in the diaspora, but also the rest of the world, can get a taste of St. Lucia, of what is great in terms of our organic products, the kind of products that we have to offer. I think the world is missing out if they don't get an easy access to it. And so that's one of the things we'd really like to focus on and get done at Export Saint Lucia.
You know, I let me tell you, I'm so happy I asked that question because I want to be able to go on Amazon and say, I feel like eating St. Lucia tamarind balls.
That's right. Or tablet.
Exactly, and be able to order that.
Yes.
You mentioned Vaughn Constable is a good friend of mine, and you mentioned him as in an example.
Right.
Are you looking at, or your organization rather, looking at any other businesses St. Lucian owned that have set up shop, and you think it would be a good product to bring into the fold and to introduce them to a wider market?
We are looking at quite extensively, quite a bit of products and businesses. Actually, we also met Nadia Norville at that meeting at the St. Lucia House in Brooklyn. And so she now came back home to St. Lucia and has the Choiseul brand, which is a very high-end brand doing very well in St. Lucia. And so we're very proud of those persons who we met actually in New York at the St. Lucia House with their products. And there are other products. For example, you just alluded to it actually without knowing, the tamarind balls. there is high demand for our confectionery, our tamarind balls, our tablet, our civet, all of those things. And so on Wednesday, actually, Wednesday this upcoming week, we are going to be handing over improved internationally based packaging for tamarind balls to one of our smaller manufacturers. So you should be able to see, and I'm sure that our team will share with you the new packaging to be able to access and send those products to Brooklyn, which is our first market actually that we are going to be sending it to. So you should be able to see those. So that is one of them. The other thing is craft products. We have noticed that our Choiseul crafters, for example, their craft is very sought after. The straw mats, the lampshades, the bags, and so on. And so that's one of the things we're seeing quite a lot of demand as far as Los Angeles for our craft products. And that's one of the things we'll be working on. And we are going to try to bring, as you say, into the fold of exports and making it very, very regular. The other thing is for us, we are going to be launching very soon, and we're working on it, a brand, the Saint Lucia brand breadfruit. And so our breadfruit is very different to other breadfruits. And I don't know if you know that, but ours is very nice and big and yellow inside and very different to everybody else's own. So we will be branding our breadfruit very differently for the United States market. So people in Brooklyn and the US can look forward to those new things that will be coming in terms of making sure that Saint Lucian products are a little more visible on the shelves that they go to.
You know, I like that because I know it's different because I like breadfruit. So I buy a breadfruit here for what, $7, sometimes $10, but it's not the same. It's small. It's not as yellow and sweet and nice as our breadfruit. So I am very happy to hear that. Let me ask, do you guys have any other plans of extending your services, say to, when I say your services, but different markets? Like I know y'all are heavily focused on North America, the UK. Is there anything about Europe? When I say Europe, I don't mean the UK. I mean in like maybe Germany, Italy, those places.
Yes, we're actually very focused, and in our upcoming new year, we'll be looking at Eastern Europe actually. So Romania, Scandinavia, we are going to be looking at those places. We recently, which is not in Europe, but we recently had an export to New Zealand. So Saint Lucian CMOS goes as far as New Zealand now. And so we are expanding to those new markets that Saint Lucian products have not gone into before. We are looking a bit at France, Germany, some products have gone to before. We do have the Baron products, which are very easily available and which goes to, I think, over 90 countries worldwide. And so these are products that we'll be looking at definitely in the upcoming year. We are going to go to some markets people have never heard about before.
So Nita, I want to put you on the spot here. I want to put you on the spot. You said that Saint Lucia produced the best CMOS.
The best in the world. Nobody can give that.
Tell us, why is that?
Saint Lucia CMOS has 92 of the 102 nutrients that your body needs. Okay, so our CMOS, you get almost all of the nutrients that you need from Saint Lucia CMOS. And I think people who know about Saint Lucia CMOS know the benefits, the health benefits, tremendous health benefits for people in terms of during illness, how it builds up your immune system. Even day to day, when you use it, you're working out, in terms of building up your energy. All of those things, our Saint Lucia CMOS is great for. And if you are Saint Lucian, the men know the great things Saint Lucia CMOS is also good for.
Awesome. You know, like everything else, all good things must come to an end, and so must Bouyon. But before we leave, I want to ask you, I have no doubt that everyone who's viewing the show, whether they look at it today or tomorrow, or a week from now, we want to know how can we obtain updated information about Export Saint Lucia? And how can you tell us how they can have access to that information?
Okay, we invite everybody, and I invite all of your viewers and listeners to go onto our Facebook page and like the page. It is very interactive. It is updated very regularly. And so you can go there and see what we have and the information you need. You could also go on www.exportstlucia.org. That's our website. You can also see quite a bit of what is required. From those social media platforms, you are very easily able to gain access to one of our staff members. So any questions that you have, they would be able to answer. You could also send questions to info@exportstlucia.org, an email. You send an email at info, and you can also get a response very quickly.
Sunita, I appreciate you coming on my show. I do. You know, we've not had the opportunity to meet personally, but I hope I can when I get to St. Lucia at some point this year. But it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. I want to say thank you so very much. I want to give you the opportunity to address the audience and tell them something that you want to share with them. Maybe a secret.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been a really great conversation for me and for Export Saint Lucia, and I'm sure that your viewers know a little more about what we do and what we are about, and we look forward to hearing from them. I just wanted to let our people in the diaspora know that where they could get some of the Baron food products, for example, in New York or New Jersey area. So Seatown, Key Foods, and Associates Supermarket, they could definitely go there. Very soon, they should be able to see a Taste of St. Lucia store set up in the diaspora. And so we look forward to meeting them. We should be having some engagement with the diaspora in each of the countries that we target during the financial year. So we look forward to the New York meeting, which should be taking place sometime later during this year. So maybe, Peter, I'll see you in New York then.
Of course, you should always tell me when you're in New York to say hi. Come on, you know, I'll be here, but maybe I'll see you before that. Unless you come here before July, because I'll definitely be in St. Lucia in July.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we look forward to seeing everybody for Jazz and for St. Lucia Carnival.
For sure. I know, right? And the jazz lineup is so good.
Definitely.
So good, you know. Once again, I want to say a big thank you so very much. I want to say this. I would like to invite you on this show again. All right. We'll set a time later in the year to just come back and just talk about stuff again and how things are going and just kind of catching up and so on. So again, I want to say thank you so much. I want to say to Jacinta, thank you so much for the person that you are and for being so supportive and helping me. And you know, she's always, my God, she's on point with everything. She's on point with everything.
It's great.
She is. She is. So I just want to say a big thank you to her as well and helping make this possible. So once again, thank you so much. We will talk very soon. I want to say to everybody who have joined us on Bouyon, I want to say thank you. Tonight, I just wanted to engage in conversation with Sunita. I wanted to just make sure that we just had that dialogue. So I am not or did not ignore you guys, but I just felt it was so important to have that discussion about Export Saint Lucia because a lot of us in the diaspora, we don't know about Export Saint Lucia. So that was one of the ideas of bringing them onto the show and talking about Export Saint Lucia. And hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll see more information and we'll share more information about Export Saint Lucia on our web page and our Facebook page. So guys, stay tuned. There'll be a lot we'll talk about Export Saint Lucia a lot. I got a tongue twister there, you know. Sometimes it happens. I want to say once again, thank you so much and good night to you. So long. Goodbye. Thank you.